What up, everyone? This is Mr. Lord Dr. Professor Dark Joker here with another edition of Traditional Fans with Opinions, where I'll give my reviews for whoever I watched, read, or played today. And who are traditional fans with opinions? That is myself, and that is you, the viewers. With all that being said, on with the reviews. One Piece, Chapter 1178. So in this chapter, so Luffy takes Usopp and Brook back to where the other Straw Hats are at. Then he rejoins Loki, who's fighting Emu. And Emu talks about that here there was a ship of giants at sea, and the captain was really giant, and that basically they were covered in mist, and the those giant pirates only attacked government assets, and somehow they were unseen. And that there were rumors of a massive flying creature. And so basically, Emu says that he's able to connect the dots. And so then when Luffy tries to attack Emu Gunko, like, so a big black blob comes out of Gunko. Luffy like reacts, and you see Emu's form, and and so Emu says that basically he's like, if only thou wouldst vanish off the face of the earth as rocks did. And and then and then he tries to do a diabolical covenant, as he calls it. So basically, with their lifespan, exchange for their lifespan, he'll give them power, basically make them Domi Reversey, but it fails. Like, it doesn't affect them, and apparently Emu expected it to not affect them. Now, which leads to which is probably do some secret regarding their devil fruits, and so they attack Emu. So Luffy does a Gum Gum Dawn Gatling to like repeatedly punch holes into Emu, and then Loki and Ragnar do an attack that freezes Gunko and Emu, and so Luffy turns back into his base form, but he looks old because he powered out, like he's out of energy, so he needs food. So then after that, everyone's trying to put out the fires and rebuild. And so Nami's having Zeus like uh bring rain onto the fire in order to put it out. And of course, you have the other Domi reversing giants that have to be dealt with, but Chopper is able to deal with those. And so so Chopper somehow is able to do it very quickly. We don't know why. Like, Zoro wonders if it's because he's such a good doctor, but we don't know what. It's like it's probably something with this Devil fruit. So like we don't know what. There's gotta be something with this Devil fruit. That will probably be explained soon. So like probably the whole like when Chopper said in in his first flashback back in the Drum Mountain arc that he'll be the cure all mushroom. That basically this is him actually doing that. If he's the cure all mushroom. So like holy crap, he might be fulfilling the way he wouldn't realize. So we'll see what happens with that. But then yeah, so everyone's trying to figure out whether or not the God Knights are alive or dead. And then Robin and Saul arrive at the Owl Library, and they see that the fire was raging, but none of the books were. There's no books there that have been burned. All the shelves are empty, and Biblo the owl is missing. But so now there's a mystery of where's Biblo and where are the books. Yeah. And then basically, yeah. And so, Sanji's concerned how, it didn't take long for him to win. Frankie's like, well, we were only going against three of them, so it's not like we were going against all of the God Knights, which is a fair point. If they went against all of them, it probably would be concerned. Like if Shamrock and Garling were there, and if the five elders were there, the elders were a bigger threat, which is probably expected. And so Sommers is trying to like recover, so like his heart is like metal or something. And it was like he's able to get his head back together. And so Luffy needs some food. And then you see Emu's like, silhouette, whatever, disappears from the ice. And then back at Marijoa, Emu tells the five elders that he's going to leave the Holy Land for a time. Basically, it's implied that, and it looks like the five, based on the question mark and two exclamation points, it looks like the five elders are shocked at that. So I'm guessing Emu doesn't leave a lot, and it's implied that he's going to Elbaf. So it's implied that he may be going to Elbaf himself to handle things. I mean, because you have three incapacitated God Knights. Like three of them are incapacitated. That's a concern for him or her, whatever. Based on the dialogue it has, it's maybe a dude. We don't know. We'll figure that. That'll be figured out later. Anyway, but it's implied that Emu is going to Elbaf, which that should be exciting. We'll actually see Emu and Luffy fully face to face. Now he could be going there just to get the God Knights, just to get just to get Killingham, Sommers, and Gunko. Now Sommers is healing himself, so maybe there's something going on with Sommers that Sommers will try to do a counterattack. We'll see. But there's gonna be some questions like one, how long is it gonna take for Emu to get there? Like, is that gonna be next chapter? Is it gonna be a few is it gonna be a few chapters until before that happens? Because with Gunko, if the ice if they melt the ice, I could see them tying up Gunko and having her explain things. Which could lead to a Gunko flashback, which I think is gonna happen. I think a Gunko flashback is happening. So, and it looks like maybe that starts next chapter. And I don't expect it to be a long one like the Herald one. No. No. That it could be that long. Like it's not. It's gonna be a short one. Like it may be like 2 or 3 chapters, probably 5 at the most. But I think it's possible that Gunko flashback starts next week in the manga. But yeah, I thought it was a good chapter, dude. You have Luffy seeing Emu for the first time now as a shadow, not as fully in person. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, I thought this was a good chapter. Looking forward to the next one. Kagurabachi Chapter 116. So in this chapter, so this focuses on um on Chihiro's mother, you know, who's like the princess of the Soga clan, and so Chiaki, so who I guess who's friends with Kunishige, and so basically you see like her daily life. She gets a prophecy basically 8 days from basically 8 days from now. People from Shokoku will arrive at Yurakuhama Beach in peace. They'll come in peace. Then later ship will arrive with the royal bearing the royal family. And then, basically people talk about how she was a servant, but now she's like basically the head of the family. Basically she and her brother Akamura were part of the, offshoot branch family. But the previous princess died of a young age before giving birth to an heir. But then the gift of prophecy also manifests inside Chiaka, so that's how she became the head of the family. And then and then you see Akamura training, and so yeah, and then apparently Chiaka and Kunishige were exchanging letters. Let's just say that pissed off some of the other people. With Shiba trying to help, you know, basically like with exchanging letters, and basically, because it was like they stopped. So apparently, Kunishige has stopped, had given up. Like apparently, I guess, Chiaka's, I guess, is supposed to be like having an arranged marriage from some noble. Yeah, and then yeah, so basically, then the prophecy is fulfilled. So the ships arrives, Shokaku's royal family. So it looks like, and basically the two nations meet. You have the Hiroshima talks happen, and you have Shokoku in Japan discuss the rights to mine the Danseki. So it looks like the negotiations are gonna happen. So we'll see what happens. Like, so it looks like this might be how the whole war starts. But yeah, I thought it was a good chapter. Interesting how these talks go. Looking forward to the next one. Ultimate Exorcist Kiyoshi Chapter A6. So in this chapter, so you have Helza, Bobo, and Kiyoshi are fighting, and then yeah, so and then basically, so Bobo is like apparently it's revealed he's a fan of Kiyoshi. You see his inner thoughts. So way grew up basically like Helzebub had mellowed down due to like his wife's influence, and so he didn't act how I guess a great demon lord was expected to act. And then Bobo came across a Asuna Roth, and I guess Bobo became a big fan of Asuna Roth, but then he saw that Roth was dead. And he learned saw about Kiyoshi, so he became a fan of Kiyoshi. So like Bobo almost asked for for Kiyoshi's autograph because he's like, what? So then basically get back to fighting. This was kind of funny, and you see Bobo trying to figure out his attack names, and then like so it's like Dave, he's like a full on fan. Like I was like, this is actually funny. So like so Bobo was like excited for this fight. Apparently he had built a coffin to store Sudaroth's corpse in after he would have killed him. But since Kiyoshi did that, um, defeated Sudaroth, Bubba plans to put Kiyoshi in it. So Bubba does an attack called Black Box, and you see like is like I don't know something coming out the top of the tower, and Shishido asks for Shuden and Hitsugi to take him to the top of that tower because if basically if they don't do something, Kiyoshi's gonna die. So looks like something's going down. So yeah, I thought this was a good chapter. It was funny. Like I did not expect Bobo to be a fan of Kiyoshi. I was like, the heck? Like I was freaking laughing. But yeah, like it was funny. So yeah, I thought it was a good chapter. Looking forward to the next one. Into the Witch, chapter 76. So in this chapter, Ichi wakes up, does like his morning exercises. Kamugi joins him for some exercises, and then you have they eat with um like with Gokuraku who's talking about how I guess he's annoyed that Jiki Sharon basically like examining his body and all that, and then I guess for like medical reasons for, and then yeah, so then Ichi's starts looking for Descara, so he asked her if he'll wear where she's at, and then yeah, so and he goes around the area, the around the area, like the building, trying to find her. Then he goes to Togisa's room, and he's able to figure out where, and so Togi says she's likely in the witch's wing, and so she tells Ichi how to get there. So and she's in so Descartes in the witch's wing in the gardens. Then Ichi arrives, falls out of a tree, and then falls down. Ichi falls on her lap, and then Ichi says she's gonna go to sleep, and Ichi tells Descartes to wake him when she leaves. Then Ichi like immediately falls asleep, and you see like and then yeah, and so basically Descartes just lets him sleep, and then you have Togi saying something about dogs can sense when they're on their sad and will snuggle with them. And it looks like he's hinting like he knows what why Ichi was searching for Descartes. Basically, she was comparing Ichi to a dog. But yeah, I thought it was a good chapter. It's a little like basically it's like a filler chapter. Like basically not much going on right now. I guess everyone's just recovering from the fight. But yeah, I thought it was a decent chapter. Looking forward to the next one. Spy Family, chapter 131. So in this one, so Yuri, Yor, and Lloyd are concerned about Yor having to do a kissing scene, and they're concerned. Yuri's like, "Hey, swap the actor for this guy." And he grabs Lloyd because you know, Lloyd is Yor's husband, but the leader of the terrorists is like, let's be clear, we're the ones who stormed this TV station gunpoint, so we could rewrite the script. And so the guy points to that Yor, and Lloyd gets in the way and asks for and very sternly asks for the guy to not point a gun at his wife. And the guy's like, "Look, I don't care if the woman's married or not." And he's like, none of y'all have veto power. And so Yuri and Lloyd are trying to figure out what to do to help Yor. Yor says, And it's like, don't worry. Yor says, don't worry. She'll go through it. And she's concerned. Like she's like trembling. And then how they handle it. So apparently, Yor walks through the door, basically to revolve. So Lloyd tells the guy he claimed to have built a revolving door for interest to make it more real. The guy's like, don't you think it's a bit much? So you see, like what appears to be Yor walking out, and you have the guy saying Bumbleita, and and you had the actor playing the role saying that his character left the gang and basically quit the life of crime, quit drinking, gambling. And so it's revealed to be Yuri who basically Yuri looks enough like yours, so Lloyd's idea was to swap him out. So Yuri's concerned that he's gonna have to kiss that dude. Oh my gosh! Like it was so yours wondering like so she's wondering if Lloyd can't stand the idea of her kissing another dude. And then she's like, no, they ain't it. Well, Lloyd's a gentleman; he'll do it for anyone. And she's concerned about Yuri. Yeah. And then so the guys think about how to make the scene work. And Yuri says, "Let go," and the guy's like, "Sorry, I'll let you go." And the guy's like, "What?" And he basically the guy improvises saying that like his in character he says he can't deny feelings. And he's saying, "Oh yes, with the suddenly kiss her would be the short behavior that Proto left behind." So the character says as Proto he said Bumbleina will ask Bumbleina out, and Bumbleina says yes, and so like and basically the characters became date and started date, and basically they're getting calls saying that they were like to see Proto like being a gentleman. They're like, oh, okay. I see you said have everyone shocked at it. Like it's so funny. And so Yuria thanks Lloyd for helping get Yor out of that. And basically they fist bump. And so seems like they're at peace. I mean Yuri I guess is still kind of annoyed, but you see Lloyd smiling. But I think Yuri's gained some respect for Lloyd for helping Yor. Especially when he stepped in front of the gun. So yeah, so so basically done the way for Lloyd to not get on the camera because obviously that would cause concerns because Lloyd in his real face has taken various roles. With that special aired live on television, if one of his past targets had seen that and recognized him, which is probably one of the things Lloyd was concerned about, um, that would cause problems. And for any future spy missions regarding where he would use his real face. So, basically it was done in a way to where, because, I think if Lloyd did switch out and they did that, I think that would set up the end game for the series, because then you would have potentially a bunch of his old targets seeing his face and then deciding to go after him after figuring out the forger name. Like I think that would set up the end game, like a bunch of targets coming after him. And because I mean, Lloyd already had to explain away the whole the concussive method joke is still great. Like the proposal scene where he uses the grenade pin, it's still one of the funniest things in the series. But yeah, so I thought this was a great chapter. You know, don't know how this will go. Obviously with yours face being on the screen, I mean that will draw some attention. Like that will, I mean, especially with the garden, like with her face, like on TV, I don't know how the garden will handle that. That'll be interesting. But yeah, I thought it was a good chapter. Looking forward to the next one. Gone Wrong Egg, chapter 21 and full series. So in this chapter, like and Gone Wrong defeat Reigoku, and so Reigoku's captured, and so like basically like humanity's got a big victory, and then yeah, so and then you see the Oedo talking with Iris, and Iris is holding an egg, and like the egg's name is Kushia, so you know I don't know like if that's supposed to be Agido's kid, hinting I guess kind of like a dynamic with Iris and Kushia that's comparable I guess to Gonron and Oma. So then you have basically yeah, and you see Agido and then yeah. So see Agido has like a bunch of kids with them, like I don't know, like they're slaves or whatever. And so you have Gonrong and Omar talking that they gotta deal with Agido, and Gonrong saying that for the sake of mankind he'll make Oma king, and that's how it ends the series. So okay, if this was the end of the arc and there was still more left, this would be fine. Here is the problem. So they didn't. So the main goal was to put Oma on the throne and save Iris. Those were the two main goals. So those weren't fulfilled. So if they were gonna continue it and show the final fight against basically defeated Reigoku, like gave an opening for the prepare for the fight against Aido. Okay, that would be fine, and that's what they should have done if they're gonna have it be a shorter series. But no, they just ended it. I was like, what the frick? You don't even have the final fight shown? Like that's freaking retarded. And what they should okay, it was like if they were gonna do do that, just have them like okay, the 3 year time jump, like go to the final fight, like and confront have them like have Gonron Ganoma confront Agido and free Iris. Instead of having Regoku randomly come in, just go ahead and deal with Agido. Like what the frick? Like because when you were setting up Agido, go ahead and deal with it then. Like if you knew it was gonna be cut short, you should have freaking done that. Like that would have been better. I mean, obviously there was a bunch of stuff that seems like there was a lot of planned stuff that was skipped over, like some of the other members of the Human Liberation Army. Like, dude, there was. I think part of it was like it was getting cut short. I think there was stuff that was planned and ended up not happening. Overall, the series is decent. Is decent. I would have liked for more in order to like actually finish it out. Actually end with Oma being king, end with Iris being freed, the humans being freed, like actual peace between Dracarys and humans. But yeah, the chapter it's a in of itself, it's a decent chapter, but it's not how you end the series. That is not how you end the freaking series. That's how you end an arc, not an overall series. Yeah, that's just dumb. But overall, like, it's a series that had potential, but I guess due to whatever, like, the author just didn't pace it well enough, or develop. Like, it was like he should have done, if it was going to cut short, he should have reached the end game instead of done the end game fight instead of dealing with Goku. That's how it should have been. So unfulfilled potential is what I'd say about this series. It's a shame because it was decent. Mage Next Door, Chapter 20. So this chapter is mostly focused on Osagawa and Ine fighting each other and basically debating their ideals about the relations between humans and mages, and mini magus tries to help Osagawa. Yeah. And then yeah, so basically it's revealed that Osagawa has the wand he's using is his father's, so Ryugen's. And you have like NA says that the reason Osagawa is able to like humans because he doesn't remember the war. And Osagawa says, the humans who are alive now don't remember the war either. Which is true. And so they're debating. It's like, Osagawa says he's gonna do what he can to see if he sees someone get hurt. Doesn't matter if they're a mage or a human. So, so then they shoot in. Their magic attacks collide, and you see a big explosion. So yeah, I thought it was a good chapter. You know, Honestly, this is probably a big fight. I don't know if this is gonna be like the last bit of the series, and like they're gonna like end it after this fight. It's possible. It's paced pretty well to where they could do that well, depending on how it goes. But yeah, I thought it was a good chapter. Looking forward to the next one. Kaichan Isn't Scary, episode 12, and full series. So when this in this episode, so so Mirai like is gotten out of the hospital. Basically, she's walking around bleeding, about to give birth, and like everyone's concerned, and so basically like so Nana, Chi, Kaya, Namu, and Bobo come across basically Mirai causes their cars to wreck, and you see basically Mirai wants to like kill Kaya and destroy the Ebisumori clan, by giving birth to like the curse or whatever. And when she tries to kill Kaya, Chi, Namu, and Bobo take her away, and Nana stays behind. Well, she takes her, and then Namu and Bobo try to hold them off, but then then Namu tells Mirai like the Mutsu's last words, basically to basically like supposed to encouraging words for like both Nana and Mirai, and Nana reveals that Mutsu actually the reason she sent Mirai to the outside world, and out basically was the way to get her out away from the Ebisumori clan, to not become like Yusui, become another Ohara. And then so and yeah, so basically and then Kaya shows so Kaya shows Chi like a drawing that she made for Mutsu, and Chi's idea is to take has idea to take Kaya back to where Nana and Mira are at. So Namu had taken Bobo out of there. Basically, one risk it was he's like I did what I was told. I'm out. So yeah, so Chi and Kaya return. Kaya shows like Mira the drawing, and then exercises the curse, and allows for but and one Mirai's returned to the hospital, and the baby's born. So basically, there's no curse, but the baby's safe and healthy because Kaya's able to exercise it. And Mirai's happy, so everyone's like at peace. So yeah, I thought it was a good episode. You know, and then good episode. Basically like into series like you see, it looks like the school year is over. So Kai's moved on to the next grade, and yeah, so and of course now she's also a big sister. So yeah, and the baby seems happy and healthy. And Mob like takes end of year pictures, and so yeah, I thought, and in the picture, like when you think you see like Kaya's the dark face, smiling, basically like hinting the dark Kaya could still be a threat. But yeah, I thought this was a good episode. Going into the series, I've not read the source material, so I don't know what other threats are out there after this. But as far as the show goes, the show was good. I thought it was a good show. I'll if it gets a second season, I'll watch it. Oedo Fire Slayer: The Legend of Phoenix, episode 11. So in this episode, Gingo and his group, they're dealing with the Foxfire attacks. You know, basically, and they're trying to put out the fires. Everyone's trying to help out deal with the fires, and basically Gingo is exonerated as far as like people suspecting of him being Foxfire. So like basically they're like he and his group they're all exonerated. So then you have the actual Foxfire like arsonist. He sees someone that reminds he sees two people that reminds him of his wife and daughter, and he tells them to run. So you see, yeah. And it looks like the fires are still going on by the time the episode ends. So it looks like next episode they're going to hopefully deal with that. You know, that was a decent episode. Odds are getting close to the end. I don't know if it'll be next week they end like the season or series related, or if it'll be the week after, depending on if they're doing 12 or 13. But yeah, I thought it was a decent episode. Looking forward to the next one. Hell's Paradise, Season 2, Episode 12, full season and full series. So in this episode, so that those reinforcements like of samurai and ninja arrive, at the battleground. So Gabimar's trying dealing with the fact he's becoming more flower like, and so he fights off some of the ninja that are after him. And Yusuriha arrives to help Sagari and May. Basically, she's fine. She's had to get to a wardrobe change. Apparently, it took her a while to find whatever, like some clothes that could work for her. Then so yeah, and then Isuzu arrives. Saying she's there to kill Yuzuriya. Sagari and Yuzuriya had killed some of her ninjas. She had seen what's going on outside, so that she knows that like all the other samurai ninjas, they're there just to kill everyone. So you have a big three-way fight. You have the initial group that came to the island. of the criminals and the samurai. Then you have the reinforcements, and then you have Rien's faction. So basically, it's a big three-way fight. So everyone's fighting. Basically you have so what they're told is that you know Shugen, like, he wants to just kill all the criminals, and it seems like they're there to just they're like basically they're like, yeah, we're just gonna kill all the criminals and be done. And so when then one of the characters there, and then like what is like when the ninja was there to like become the new Gabimaru and kill the previous one. They're kind of like restore Iwagakure's, like, I guess, reputation. And so yeah, so and then it's definitely gonna be interesting to see what happens. So we'll see, obviously, like, it's chaos out. Like, there's a full fight about to go down. Like, if we get season three, we'll see that full fight. And hopefully we get season three. So yeah, I thought it was a really good episode. Good way to end the season. Hint that, yeah, the really big fights that are coming up. But yeah, I thought it was a good episode. Very good season. I really hope we get a season three. If we don't, it's a good series, but we should get season three. Hopefully, it doesn't take as long. But yeah, really looking forward to season three. If we get it, hopefully we do get it. Under Doctor, chapter 10. So in this chapter, so assassin named Maxwell the Miracle Man, who's I guess one of the best assassins in the U.S., is gambling at casino, and you see that Khan, the mob boss from previous chapters, is hiring him to kill Haiji, and basically, so yeah, and then so basically, Kong doesn't have much to live, much long time to live, but he wants to basically have you know have Haiji killed before he kicks the bucket. And apparently, Kong's offering double like his like the standard rate for him, and then yeah, so and basically Kong like is gambling somebody in order to like I guess for Maxwell to take a job. So Kong's able to do like you know basically get enough money, get enough wins to where he can like basically pay Maxwell. And then yeah, so basically then so Haiji and Chiwa meet with a guy named Ukita, four of the building they're in. So a bunch of hospitals that the Oshimori clan had installed in various buildings across Japan. And then yeah, so basically Ukita, or his full name is Tomosuke Ukita. He's a kabuki actor. And so and then Maxwell arrives, and yeah, so and basically breaks into the building, and fought and like basically like he was breaking in, and then basically, so Haiji tells Ukita and his attendant to like do what he says, and they'll get to live. Basically, he's trying to tell it for their safety. So Chiwa confronts Maxwell, and Chiwa calls him by his full name, Maximilian Carter, and Chiwa knows the name, but she heard that he rarely takes jobs, so she never thought she'd encounter him. So Maxwell reveals he's after Haiji, and then he attacks Haiji, knocks his glasses off. So he's gonna get attack on him. So it looks like we could be in for a decent fight. So yeah, I thought it was a good chapter, cool way to introduce Maxwell. You know, it seems like a cool villain. But yeah, I thought it was a good chapter. Looking forward to the next one. Kanto's Magic, Chapter 9. So in this chapter, all the adventurers are eating, to celebrate their victory. And so the ones who are, doing the illegal, mining, whatever, they're captured, like, very, very quickly. So, like, basically, Maria sells out Sid, and, yeah, and, basically, um, yeah, and, basically, Kiyoto can't, like, he's still hurt. He can't really use his magic to heal himself. And Ibis reveals her workshop is floating. Yeah. And then, yeah, and you see the Iron Fangs are helping, like, and, uh, to help, Ibis' workshop float and help her make, fireworks. And then, yeah, so Zio, like, compliments, Kanto, saying that, he realized how much kindness involved, like, his response is like hell involved in being a hero. So he's gonna like try to like get better at it. And Zio says he wants something to go toe to toe with Kyoto. Kyoto says his dreams become an adventure, but if he stops there, he won't be able to live to Zio's expectations. So he wants to try to be like more ambitious, so he can like they can be equals. And so it looks like at the Council of 12 is meeting in the kingdom. Looks like something big may be going down. So we'll see how that goes. So yeah, I don't know, like some big threats coming in. But yeah, I thought it was a good chapter, good way to end this arc. We'll see how whatever this Council 12 is, how that what that entails. But yeah, I thought it was a good chapter. Looking forward to the next one. Alien Headbutt, Chapter 8. So in this chapter, Shirokiba is still trying to fight the alien to save you know, Tatsumi to put the parasite him so he could live. So you see flashbacks to some of his training when he was a starting out in wrestling, then while he's fighting the alien. So he's trying to be a wrestler, could do anything, basically like where it's legal moves or illegal moves. So yeah. So you see like how he improves as a wrestler through the flashbacks, and how he gets better at using different moves, and so he then like basically plans to use an alien as a weapon on the alien, and he calls the attack an alien headbutt, basically the name of the series. And yeah, it really damages his opponent. So yeah, I thought it was a good chapter, interesting to show like his training, how it affected like how he's fighting this alien now. That was cool. So yeah, I thought it was a good chapter. Looking forward to the next one. Rooster Fighter, episode 3. So in this episode, the chicken that confronts KG is named Elizabeth. So it's she explains, KG doesn't remember her. So Elizabeth says that she was adopted shortly after she was hatched by this old couple. Basically, was like a pet, treated very well. You know, basically, demon attacked, and KG defeated the demon. Then like KG and Elizabeth had fallen for KG, and they walked along the beach and basically had sex. Then after that, KG immediately goes up to leave. And this was like 6 months before this episode, so like this episode takes place. So Elizabeth Lacey was trying to kill KG for basically leaving her after a one night stand. Now Pyoko's jealous because she's in the KG. When Pyoko well, the chick is the little baby chick doesn't have a name yet. KG gives the chick the name Pyoko. So when Elizabeth tries to kill KG's able to kind of like seduce Elizabeth. They like start making out, and then KG tries to hump Elizabeth. Elizabeth like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "What the frick?" But Elizabeth says, she isn't just jurying out just to get like. She also was trying to kill demons because the demons like some of her friends, like animal friends, were killed by demons. Basically, demons are going all around the nation attacking people. And so Elizabeth shows KG a video of the white demon, which is the demon that killed KG's sister Ed. Basically, implied is and also like absorbed Sarah, made Sarah like a part of its body. And so it's revealed that in the past, a dog tried to attack Sarah. KG stood like try to protect her. Then Sarah actually summoned fire, and attacked the dog with fire. So yeah, what happens? So then later, the three of them, so KG, Elizabeth, and Pyoko go to a hot spring to like heal. KG's concerned about the death, but then once Elizabeth pushes him in, it's not a concern. But then Pyoko's abducted, and that's how the episode ends. And KG and Elizabeth are like they don't know where Pyoko's at. But yeah, I thought this was a good episode. Dude, it's freaking funny. Like it is so funny. This show knows how ridiculous it is. Like the freaking chickens fighting demons. Like it's funny. I was kind of when I saw KG burnt up from staying in the hospital so long. I was kind of I thought like when Pyoko was looking, I thought like Pyoko was gonna something like, hmm, for some reason I was hoping there'd be a joke about KG smelling good, like smelling like a fried chicken or something from staying there too long. That would be funny. But yeah, I thought it was a good episode. Looking forward to the next one. Digimon Beatbreak, episode 24. So I would review this yesterday, but those retards at Crunchyroll took too long to put it on the freaking streaming service. Yeah. So anyway, so basically this ends the tactics arc. So like the final fight against Clay Arzalon happens. So Kyo is cold-hearted by Clay, like so Healy's Day, then Reina, Makoto, and Tomura and their Digimon try attack. Reina, Makoto, and Makoto are cold heart as well. Tomura gets really pissed off, so he kind of forces Gekomon to like a dark Digivolve, and it really hurt, like almost like cold hearts Tomura. But then Raido comes in, gives us some encouraging words, and then so Tomura and Gekomon are able to like recover, and Gekomon reaches an ultra level called Monarch Lizamon, and so they're able to defeat Gekomon, like defeat Clay Arzon, and then so basically everyone's healed, and Tomura asks Arzon about the monkey Digimon Gokumon, and Arzon says they'll probably meet see like that Tomura will probably see Gokumon again soon. And Kyo wakes up in the hospital, and looks like so Team Seven from Tactics, like they're not, they're like exonerated, and like looks like you know like they're exonerated, and it's looks like they're all scot free. Whether or not they're gonna be recurring allies, who knows? Or they're gonna be part of Goldon, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what happens with them in future episodes. But yeah, I thought this was a you know good episode. Really good way to end this arc. Um, Looking forward to the next one. Duck Dynasty: The Revival, Season 2, Episodes 1 through 4. So, yeah, I basically just learned that Season 2 of this had premiered. And anyway, so as far as these episodes, so you have first one, it's basically a tribute to Phil Robertson, who of course passed away last year. He went to be with the Lord. So this shows like some footage of the funeral, and like basically after they did like these games based off of things about Phil, like stuff he liked to do and all that. And it was a way to honor him, and like it was interesting how like for a lot of for other people in the show, like sometimes when they show like who's related to who, they instead of showing like based around, a lot of times it was based around Willie, since Willie CEO Duck Commander. They basically, it was based around Phil, like their relation to Phil, and I thought that was a cool like tribute to him. But yeah, dude, that was a tough episode to watch. Like, I mean, having lost grandparents before, like that was a like having lost some grandparents myself in the past. Like, dude, that was a tough one to watch. Like, and so then you have second episode, you have it's Willie's birthday, and so Jacob and Christian, who are like Willie's son-in-laws, they want to get jobs in the company, like, and so Willie's trying to help, like one of them wanting to test them. So Jace like tries to put him through the ringer to figure out what like, and then Willie and John Luke try to, they get these mannequins that they use to play pranks on different people in the office, which leads to some really funny scenes, like freaking mannequin in the fridge. That was freaking funny. Then you have Lair, so Willie and Jace. Yeah, so Jace was more involved in these episodes than previously, so which is nice. That really, because dude, Jace having his dynamic with Willie, that was something that was kind of missing season one, and that was always funny. So you see, this season feels a lot more like the old Duck Dynasty. Like season one was good, but this season so far has been better. Like really feels like the old Duck Dynasty. So Will and Jason have dispute over fishing. So there's like a family pond that's a little like all the land that the whole family shares. You know, Willie says Jace did have permission to be there because Jace isn't on the property that's where the pond's at. Turns out Jace did have permission, but from I think it was Corey's father. So and Jace was fishing in his section. So then they do a thing called duck court where they try to make their arguments with Sai being the judge, which goes about as well as you expect. And so basically, during the days have a fishing competition. So like yeah, you know, Willie gets his grandkids to join his team, and Jace has I think it was like Jacob and John Reed help out. Yeah. And when they explained that episode, so Rebecca had just had kids. She's wanting John Reed to get a like basically like a vasectomy or whatever. Like get his balls stepped or whatever. And there's a whole joke how they can't use the word balls on like in that context. Like the word balls was always bleeped, and so they were all joking about that. Like when I first heard the bleep, I was like, is he saying dick or cock? It's like I was like, are they not allowed to say dick or cock on the air on TV? Like I've never known that to be the case. But no, they could say penis and testicles. They just couldn't say balls. I was like, what the heck? They can't say they can I was like, they can say testicles and penis, but they can't say balls. That is so retarded. But no, they were all making this way. They were making jokes about that. I was like, I mean, I would too. But and John Reed is understandably concerned because someone using some scissors, whatever, to mess with his balls, and basically because basically Rebecca is concerned about she doesn't necessarily want to have another kid. She feels like they have enough kids, and John Reed asked some of the other guys. I guess some of them may have gotten one, and basically, some say John Reed when he goes to the doctor, he asked the important question of so after it of how after it happens, how long does he wait before he can have sex with his wife? Understandable question. Like that should be one of the first things on your mind is how it affects your sex life. Like if you're a married man, I mean, one of the purposes of marriage is that. But yeah, so I mean, like one of them. There's also raising kids, fellowship with Jesus and all that. Anyway, but yeah, John Reed are so concerned. Yeah, Rebecca looking at some of the old baby clothes. Then on the way to the doctor's office for like the appointment, Rebecca has second thought, says maybe they should take more time to consider. John Reed's like, thank goodness, I'm so relieved. And yeah, everyone's like, really? And I mean, I'm with John Reed. I wouldn't want someone messing with my balls. I would not want that. I don't care. I don't care if someone's professional. Um, you're talking about a man's balls here. That is something that like ugh. I would not want someone messing with that. So then late now then episode 4 you have so Mountain Man I guess is come back from Tennessee. Willie's trying to do a whole podcast thing called Pod Blast. It's not really explaining what that is. So so Willie tries to figure out where to do it. And it kind of affects Sadie trying to do a live podcast talking with Thomas Rhett and his wife. Like basically an Sadie's trying to interview him. So Thomas Rhett, famous singer out of Nashville. I refuse to call him a country singer because he's not a country singer. He is a pop singer that calls himself country. And I will die on that hill. He is not a country singer and never will be a country singer. You know. Anyway, so the pod blasting. It's not really explain what it is. You know, it never really gets off the ground. As the never gets off the ground, Willie basically kind of like screw it after the end of the episode. And then so I guess some people make fun of John Luke for having, I guess, small animals inside of his office. And they're mentioning, I guess, some elk that he shot when he was 12. It's on display in William Corey's old house, which is now owned by John Reed and Rebecca. So Sai suggests that John Luke steal the elk. John Luke was there, so he asked John Reed if he could just have it. Well, which is I understand the thing to ask, just ask. And I guess the John Reed and Rebecca's kids like the elk, so it's like okay. So basically, the answer was no. And then so John Luke decides to steal it. He gets Christian and Jacob to help him steal it. Doesn't work out well because there are cameras in there. So cops arrive at the office. Put him, and once he says, "Oh no," he was like, "Oh, those fine because don't really steal." And the cops like those. Puts him in the handcuffs into the car, puts him into the car, and then John Rico and says, "Gotcha." Basically, it's like a prank. Like with someone arranged a prank with the cops to have that. And John's like, "Dude, we have cameras in there. You got, and you let your duffel bag wear them." Basically, they know what they're doing. Like, we're not dealing with masterminds here. Like, I mean, I think it was definitely one of the things that was like staged. I mean, some things have been staged I mean, like the Phil McMillan stuff. Like, I think that stuff was staged. 'Cause I think if you know, well, he's actually like he's actually friend. In real life, basically, the film was actually friends with them. Like the whole Robert thing was actually done it was done as like a little gag, and and like but yeah, and basically like Phil Miller like has had high respect for Phil. Like he had talked about how Phil apparently in real life he's talking about how Phil had impact on his life and like his faith and all that. But yeah, they're at like basically they're actually like so yeah. I thought these were good episodes. Good we start season, definite improvement. Like I liked season one, like 8 out of 10. Season two, oh, it's up the quality. It definitely feels more like classic Dynasty. So yeah, I thought this was these were good episodes. Looking forward to the next one. Well, and that's it. Did y'all like the stuff I reviewed? And if you have your own opinions about all that, you can put all that in the comments. Thank you for watching, and like, subscribe, and all that. And look forward to the next video.